Good afternoon and welcome to DKW. Yes, it's a very chilly afternoon, but we've got a very interesting topic today. They're saying that apparently 60 is the new 16. I think I may need to be a bit convinced about that, but let's see what our guests have to say about that. That's right, today we're going to be talking about over 50s. Is it a dreaded time, a daunting time? Why do people feel so, horrified about getting older? What is it? What's the taboo attached? Well, we've got some wonderful guests with us today on DKW. We've got Kim, our guest presenter.
Hi,
Hello.
Shireen.
And we've got June Powell.
Hello, Shireen.
Hello. And Julie Tedeschi. Well, you'll know Kim as a fellow DKW, but our special guests today, they're going to be telling us about their experiences about growing older, and also what does the media say about it. We want to get their point of view across. Is it a daunting thing? Is it something that you feel you're being challenged, or is it a wonderful thing? Are they really growing older gracefully? That's what this show's about. So before we delve deeper into the topic, I want to know a bit about yourself. So let's start with June. Tell me a bit about yourself, June.
Well, I'm in my 60s.
You're in your 60s?
Yes. 60s.
And you don't mind saying it?
Well, I do actually. But I decided to be brave.
Love it.
I decided to be brave. So any 60-odd out there, be brave. And a bit about my background. Just mentioned my age, and I've got 4 children, and I've got several grandchildren.
7?
Several.
Oh, several?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Is that because you've lost count of them?
I have indeed. I have indeed. And I am still working, and my aim is to enjoy life and to make the most of myself.
Lovely. Well, it sounds all fantastic. Can I ask you, what is it that you do for your work?
Well, what I'm actually doing now is helping people and also caring for people, because I was working for social services, the work which I really, really enjoyed. But when that came to an end, I decided to help people, and I work with people, support people as well. It's quite enjoyable.
Lovely. All right, then let's go over to you, Julie. Tell us a bit about yourself, Julie. You can reveal your age if you want to. You are most welcome. Tell us.
Well, I'm Julie, and over 60.
I'll leave it there.
Just about. Just about. I've got 2 sons. I've got no grandchildren as yet.
Oh, as yet. Do you think it's going to happen?
I hope so. I hope so. I want grandchildren.
Okay.
I'll wait and see what happens.
All right. And what is it that you do for a living?
I work for the UKG helpline, and it's a very satisfying job. Interesting. Every day it's something different, interesting, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Can I ask you what exactly that you do on a day-to-day basis within your role?
Okay, when someone calls the helpline, they have a problem, we answer the phones, and we either speak to them there on the line. They may call for a prayer, which they can get, and or we could actually make an appointment for them to come in and see one of the pastors, to see one of the advisors that's in the help centre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that because you've got lots of life experience, that makes you well suited for a job like that?
Yeah. Well, I came to the health centre, I had many, many problems, and I actually identify with most of the problems that people call with at the helpline. So, yes.
So you think that kind of job
yes.
is better for people who've had a lot of life experience?
Yes, yes.
All right, so before we start delving deeper into this issue that we're going to be talking about, and it's a very honest issue because, let's face it, we're all going to grow older, aren't we? But for some reason, it seems to be a daunting thing, but we're going to go deeper into that in a moment. First of all, I just want to ask you guys a quick questions. In this day and age, do any of you have Facebook or Twitter?
I've got Facebook.
You've got Facebook, so we can find you on Facebook.
Yes.
And Twitter?
I've joined up, but I haven't actually.
Tweeting.
I haven't started yet. I've joined up though.
And you, June?
I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook too?
Yes.
Wow. Now, can I ask you why you're on Facebook? Don't you think it's like a younger thing? Can I ask? Why have you joined?
That's the assumption that Facebook is just for younger thing. But today you have to keep up with technology, and that's what I do. I'm not there every day to Facebook at all, but I do have one or few people that I do contact via Facebook, and it can be a very good thing.
It's good to keep in touch, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it's keeping in touch, yes.
Did you find like old school friends and
I found
stuff
a few
through-
people, yes.
Wow.
Yes. They found me as well.
Okay, do you guys know what LOL stands for? LOL.
Yes, it's either laugh out loud or
Oh,
not so loud.
she's well done. Did you know that, June?
I must confess I did not, but I get there. I'm
Well,
getting
you
there.
learned something on the show. I'm
Yes,
very,
I
very
am.
pleased.
It's always learning.
One more. What about OMG?
Oh my God.
OMG.
You're a retro, you are. She's young. What about you? Do you know what OMG means?
Do you know I don't, but I'm keeping the breath.
Any ideas what you reckon it could stand for?
M-O-O-M-G.
No, OMG.
I do that for my homework.
It means, Miss Julie, do you want to reveal?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's what it means.
Okay.
Another revelation today. Okay.
Indeed.
I've got a news piece. Tell me what you think about this. Mail Online reported that upcoming fashion label Vilma choose to use an 81-year-old model, Janine Rose, in their new couture campaign. Gabrielle Velma, the designer behind the label, says there are different beauties in this world. Not only the young poses this quality. Her presence tells a story, and this is in line with my collection. The clothes sit just as well on her as they do with a 17-year-old. There should be more models like this that ooze character rather than having to paint it onto them. Ooh, have a look. Doesn't
Yes.
she look stunning?
Yes.
All right, let's get your feedback on this. I must say she's looking quite fab with those clothes.
Yeah.
As
So
an older
classy.
lady.
I like when they said that her face, her features tell a story, because when you look at her, you think of the old classics, you think of posture, you think of pose. You know, it really does tell a story, and I think we have so many of the younger models out there, and to see something so clashes and vintage, almost like a painting, I think it's so refreshing.
What do you reckon, guys? Do you agree with that? Would you
I
buy her
do.
collection?
Yes. Do they have for the bigger girl?
That's a whole nother show.
Because I find that I like classic styles and they suit me. And I remember putting up on the community that that I'm looking for somewhere that will make clothes for my age, my size. Because quite a lot of the styles that the young people are wearing now, I wore before, and they wouldn't look good on me now. So, you know, that kind of way. Well, you're not old enough to think that way, but the styles that I wore when I was younger wouldn't look good on me now because they're for younger people, I feel.
I find that's quite a good niche market if anyone's out there thinking about that, because this age group does tend to have a lot more money.
Yep.
That's very, very true. Would you agree with that?
Because for the larger person, for a smaller person, they can find clothes to fit, but for someone like me,
That's actually
it's very
a good
difficult.
point, actually. Do you feel quite, I mean, you've said that, but what about you, June? Do you feel a bit isolated when it comes to fashion? Do you feel that it really isn't that much out there for the older woman if she wants to look, you know, fashionable?
Indeed, there is. Depends what you're looking for, actually. But I find for myself, because I'm quite tiny, there's nothing out there for me. And when I go in the clothes shop, what they see for the older woman, which is really older woman thing, and it doesn't look nice at all. I really think they need to do some nice, classy design for the older woman. Now, as for me, I find it very difficult to get clothes that's really fit, unless it's for the younger person.
Yes.
So if there's anyone out there who want to design clothes
But that
for
designer's,
Yes,
that
please.
designer's got a
Tiny.
point. She found a niche market. Yeah,
for
very
tiny
interesting, that.
persons, you know, well, I'm here.
But the tiny older woman.
The tiny older woman, yes. But the fashion is that it's not too youngish, but it's not over the top with no undesirable prints or you know just really out of shape clothes. Nice and classy.
Do you know what? When you're saying about the clothing out there, would you say it's just really all dreary and like kind of like, you know, not very appealing to look at for your older? Would you say that for the older woman, it seems like it doesn't reflect your character? Like you're wearing this very bright dress. Do you understand? So I would think you're probably thinking, oh, I'm going outside and I'm only finding a dreary type of clothing. Like it's matching. It's almost as if the market out there is saying the older woman is
Forget
dreary.
her. Yes.
Absolutely.
It's not as flamboyant and as colourful as you are today.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying you
That's
face?
absolutely so. It's very drab and dull, and it's really very horrible.
It's the same as June. She's finding it difficult for a small person. On the other side of the scale, I find it very difficult to find something for my age and my size. So yes, and the see-through things as well. For a certain age, me personally, for a certain age, I really don't want to wear see-through things. You know, it doesn't become an older woman.
Understood. Well, I would like to know from you at home if you agree with any of the points that have been raised here. Give us a call here on the studio, 0207 686 6300. Now, we're going to play a game. Are you guys ready for a game?
Yes.
All right, let me get it here. It's called the guessing game. I'm going to show you a few pictures, so have a look at the screen. And I want you to try to guess their age based upon the picture. Now, not even we know in the studio. Kim and I are completely blank to this, but what would you say? Looking at that model, how old do you reckon she is?
From here, I don't know, 24?
24? June?
Yeah, I would believe she's in her 20s.
What about you, Kimmy?
I can't see her too close up, but I think, but
Where's she
I would
dressed?
say more than 30s.
30s?
Yeah.
All right, what's the answer, please? Please reveal. 47 years old.
Wow.
With the
Sorry, can we see that
midriff
picture
out.
again, please?
Her midriff's out.
Her midriff's out.
You must see that June, now you know her age.
So over 40s, you shouldn't have your midriff out, but apparently you can, because look how beautiful she looks at 47. All right, let's see another picture, please. All right.
She looks about 45.
45?
Yeah.
June, what about you? I would say that.
Same
Yes.
in her 40s,
Yes.
45?
Yes.
All right, so we're stepping it up now because of the other picture. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I was 40s, 50s, because she looks like a kind of Marks and
Yes.
Spencer's kind of look,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
40s, 50s. All right, the audience say 40s, 50s. What is the answer? 54
Wow.
years
Done.
old.
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, indeed.
Do we have another one? Quite liking this game. Oh, okay, so it's a man this time. You know, men can be very deceiving. What do you reckon?
About 50, 54.
50, 48.
Is he a celebrity?
He looks like Denzel.
He looks like a
He looks
bit
like Denzel, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Denzel? All right. How old do you reckon that Denzel is,
I
guys?
should know
His
that.
50s.
I think
In his
Denzel's in his
50s?
50s.
Must be.
54.
54. DKW audience says 54. What's the answer? 58. Oh, so you weren't,
Yeah.
you weren't far off. Excellent. Well, we're going to go for a break now. When we come back, I'm going to be asking you some more questions, and we're going to be delving into the advantages and disadvantages of growing older gracefully. Welcome back to DKW, and before the break we were speaking to some special ladies in the studio about growing older the modern way. That's right, we had June Powell and Julie with us, and we also got guest presenter, DKW presenter, Kim Powell, who also heads actually a seniors group in South London.
Yes.
And we're talking about what are the taboos, what is it that's been attached to growing older? Why can't we just grow older gracefully? Why can't we do it the fun way like these ladies are showing us in the studio? We're going to be going back to that point, and we're going to be doing a quiz. If you'd like to join us with any of your views, feel free to call in 0207 686 6300. We'll love to hear from you. So, before the break, we were talking about being modern, growing older the modern way, and I would like to get some tips from you on how can you do that, because of course I am going to reach your age shortly. And so will everyone else. And I can see massive, really big smiles on your face that you guys, you know, you're just shining, you're just so engaging, you're really not dreary, as you were saying about the clothes shops, you're really not kind of, oh, I'm growing older, I'm dying now and it's over. Not at all, you're quite the opposite. You've got a lot of life in both of you. And I want to get some tips from, first of all, Kim, give me your first tip.
One thing I would like to say is about staying engaged, keeping up to date with all modern technology and what's going on. I mean, for example, as Shireen said, I work with a group of seniors in South London. And one thing we found that they did find really interesting was like modern technology, learning how to use the computer. A lot of them now know how to use Facebook and Skype. Able to Skype, I mean, my parents, for example, they're in their 70s now. and they live in the West Indies. They're forever Skyping us. Every time I switch on my computer, you know that noise the Skype makes? Forever Skyping. So a good thing to do is stay engaged. You keep up to date with what's going on.
Yes, it's mainly keeping up to date. If you're, for instance, you're like you and your parents, you're in different countries, keeping in touch with each other, and it's good actually to do. It's something different. It keeps you young also, because when you're learning new things all the time, that keeps your brain ticking over, and it keeps you young.
So true, Miss Julie.
Can I say that, are you open to learning new things as well, June?
Yes, I am indeed, and I think it's really absolutely important, because if you don't, your brain gets stagnant. You just can't say, how should I say, know what is going on. It's all, and as Julie said, it does stimulate your brains to learn.
You know, my grandparents, for example, they're much older than you. They're in their 70s, and they have got no interest in learning the computer whatsoever. Not at all. Even if I tried to, I know they would not. I think because they've got so used to just living the way they have lived, you know, and doing everything the way. Like if I tell them Facebook, like many times we take photos of the family and they're like, "Where are the pictures? I never see the pictures." We're like, "It's on Facebook," and they're like, "Facebook, oh, Facebook, print it out for me." But we just don't do it because we're so used to that. But it's amazing how they will refuse to learn anything new at all. And I like the way that you guys are very different.
But it can be intimidating at first. If because technology, I mean, they weren't brought up perhaps in the days when there was technology, and so as you said, they come accustomed to what they know. It can be intimidating, but so they need to be gradually
stepping into it, like you have.
Yes. Well, I when I used to go work, we had to use the of course the computers, etc. So that I'm familiar with that. But if I wasn't, even at this age, I would be a bit intimidated.
So how have you broke that barrier? I just wanted to know what has made you, like for example, you were telling me earlier that you've learned a new program called Evernote. So what has helped you to break that barrier and start learning something new?
Because most of what I do and some of the, how should I say, development course I'm on, they use Evernote, and it's also important when you go on courses. It helps you to open your mind, learn new things, and that's also very important. If not, you just get left behind, and you just don't really want to do that.
Sometimes when you get too stagnant in your ways, it's good when you get that extra push, something you have to do, and then you do it. So that helps you as well.
Yes.
Love it.
And it is important to keep a positive attitude towards aging, because it's something that we all have to go through.
Yes.
And I think that with lots of planning for the future, you're traveling, all the things that you wanted to do that you couldn't do because you had your children and other responsibilities, now is the time to do it and have plans and things to look forward to. And I think with of older people, you can get away with so much more.
Indeed.
You can just get away with so much more. You can have so much fun with people thinking of things that they think you can't do. You can have so much fun with that.
Can I ask, what are your future plans, Miss Julie?
Well, I'm supposed to be retiring next year, but that's not going to happen.
Oh.
No, no way. I will continue until. Yes, there's no such thing as retirement for me. I can't see if I retire, I'll probably melt away. I've got to be doing something. I must be doing something.
You like to be active.
Yes.
I've heard also that apparently you've written a book.
Yes.
Is that right? Tell us a bit about that then.
It's a children's book from 3 to 6 year olds. I started that in 2006, but then I kind of sat on it for many years. And there was a time in the church when we had this challenge, and this challenge brought it back to me. And at the time I felt compelled to actually go back to the project I was doing with the book. I've finished 4 of the books. There are 53 books in all that I'm writing. And I finished 4 of them. The first one was published in September.
Wow.
So I'm going to try and get the second one published soon.
Lovely.
Would you like to say the name of the book?
Go on.
Yes.
Get in trouble later after.
The series of books is called Alpha Animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's about animals in the Bible, the alphabet of the animals in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it will follow this child who is 3 years old from the age of 3 until he's 6 years old, with his mom, his dad, his brother and sister, and his grandma. And other people will be coming to, and they're funny books as well. They will have little quirky things inside. I must say that some of the things that will be in the book would be from my 2 sons.
Oh, things you're getting from them.
Yes.
Oh, things that they did?
Yes.
Oh, that should be
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, indeed. I shall be reading it.
Yeah.
How can we get hold of your book?
It's on Amazon at the moment, and it's on ebook.
Wow.
Great.
In the new year, I've contacted, because it's self-published, I've contacted one of the largest distributors, book distributors. They distribute to other bookshops in the country, but they've stopped taking books right now. So in the new year, they'll be getting in touch with me.
Wow.
So yes.
You should have bought a copy so we could have shown your book.
Yes. Didn't think of that.
How about you, June? What's your future plans?
Well, it's to continue learning, because I believe that once you learning and doing things that I enjoy, and I really believe this is the best time, as Kim said, that you're free to go out there and learn. And there's, if you go to local authorities, they have books and things there that tell you what's going on for the more mature.
It's true, there's a lot of benefits you can get from an older lady.
And swimming and all these little things that you can actually do. So it's a good idea to just go into the library, the local library, and ask what is there available for you. But I know that at this time in life, there's grandchildren, and lots of us love the grandchildren and want to look after grandchildren because we want to help our children because of childcare, etc. But you mustn't forget yourself. If you can do the things what you didn't have the opportunity to do, this is the time.
There was once I once saw a little notice saying, "If I knew grandchildren were such fun, I'd have them first." So I'm waiting for mine.
But you know that, June, that's a really good point. What you said about the activities that you can get involved in, because a lot of times these days, a lot of activities for seniors tend to be free or reduced in cost. So if you go to your local library and other organisations, you're going to find lots of stuff out there that's available, and just take advantage of it, because it's all out there. This is I would say this is time for now to enjoy all the things that are available to you, and don't stay isolated or by yourself, but take advantage of all these free and subsidised stuff. That
Swimming.
You paid for it, so you know.
That's right. That's a very good point.
So take advantage.
All right, then, guys. I'd like to go and give you a quiz. I've been looking forward. This is my favourite part of the show now. Let's see how much you guys know. We're going to be bringing you back to school. Actually, when was the last time you did a quiz? Well, you're going to do one now.
I do crossword.
Crosswords?
Yes, I do crossword.
All right, I'm going to give you 4 questions.
Okay.
And you have to be very quick at trying to answer them.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Actually, what I want you to do, because I know probably Julie is going to say it quickly and June, you won't have a chance, so you have to raise your hand and Kim will decide who will go first. Yeah? Let's be fair, isn't it? Yeah? Let's be fair. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Question number 1. When I say Hunger Games, what comes to mind?
Hunger Games.
Yes, when I say Hunger Games, what comes to mind? Raise your hands.
June.
Hunger Games. It sounds like hungry to me.
Would you like to repeat that, June?
Hungry.
Hungry. Feeling hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. Julie, anything to counteract that?
Well, it's wanting to, having an urge or a desire to play games.
Interesting. All right. Kim, would you like to reveal what the answer is?
Sorry. It's a novel by Susanna Collins, made popular by a movie.
It's just literally come out. It's in the cinemas,
Yeah.
part 2.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Hunger Games, yes.
Yeah.
I just went to see it in the movies last week. It's out in the cinema everywhere.
Oh dear.
Okay, that's fine. Nil point to both of you. Let's go to number 2. Now, which singers' hits include Only Girl in the World and Umbrella Ella Ella? Don't raise your hands quickly.
Sounds like.
Oh, Julie.
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Well done. 1 point to Julie. Well done. Julie, you've got to be quick in this game.
Oh yes.
All right, next one. Who is Miley Cyrus?
Oh, June.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Yeah.
And anything else?
Actress.
Oh,
Yes, well done.
should we give her the point?
Do you know what she acted in?
Oh.
Can you name anything she's acted in?
No, not really, but she did act in comedy. Is that right? No?
I suppose you could call it that.
Children's program.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I meant, the children.
Yes, I'm sure your grandson is here. He's across there, and I'm sure if we asked him, he's laughing right now. He could tell you exactly what she
Did
was
you used to
in.
watch it?
Do you watch her?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So well done. Point to you. Oh gosh, it's a tie break. It's a tie at the moment. All right, let's see this. If this
Oh dear, this
question can break the tie, and we can have a winner here in the studio. All right, hands to the ready. What is twerking?
Twerking.
What is twerking?
Oh, twerking. Oh,
Sounds like a
yes.
complicated twerk.
Julie.
Right, I'll be very interested to see how you're going to break this down.
to see what you're going to say this is.
Twerking is a body movement. I think it's dancing or some kind of exercise, something like that.
I suppose you could call it a form of exercise.
Form of exercise. Yes, since it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I think we can give that to Julie.
I think so.
Well
Without going
done.
into too much detail.
Kim, would you like to reveal what twerking really is?
Okay, it's a form of dancing that involves shaking your behind up and down.
Because I read an article that Jay-Z's wife, she did it.
Oh, Beyonce.
Yeah, she did it.
Okay.
She was the first that did it, apparently.
Okay.
I think everyone's trying to get that trophy. But anyway,
Yeah.
another show.
Yeah, another show.
Well done.
sure.
So, with that quiz now to the we're now finalised. I think that we have a winner, and it's Julie. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
When we return from the break, we're going to be speaking more to Julie and June about growing old gracefully, and that really is a great time. I'm going to find out why straight from them after this. Welcome back to DKW, and that's right, today we're discussing growing old gracefully the modern way. So, Julie, tell us, how were you when you were younger? That's what I want to know. Tell me, how were you when you were younger?
I was quiet and inverted.
Really?
Introvert, yes. I didn't speak a lot because of what was going on in my mind. So I didn't like to speak. I'd sit in a crowd,
Yes.
but still be lonely, lonely inside. So even though there were lots of people around, I'd be that person. And my friends, I didn't have female friends. I didn't have friends. My friends were transvestites. They were all transvestites. I felt comfortable with them.
Really?
I didn't want to have male friends. I didn't want to have female friends, but comfort in transvestite friends.
Why do you think that was then?
An
that
incident
reflects
happened to me
about
when I
you?
was younger,
Okay.
so I didn't trust anybody.
Oh.
Anybody. But they were so open, these people, they were so open, and they didn't want anything from anybody because they were business people, they were independent,
Yes.
they didn't want anything from anyone, so they weren't looking for relationships or anything else,
Yes.
and that was comfortable for me. So, yes.
Would you say that you enjoyed your youth?
Not really, no.
Do you think you're having a better time now than when you were younger?
Yes. Because when I hit 30, I had my second child at 29, and that was my happiest time. So in my mind, I'm 29. I look in the mirror and I saw a different face looking back at me, but my mind,
It's still 29.
when I'm not looking in the mirror, I see a 29-year-old, a slim 29-year-old. Yeah, so I look in the mirror and I see.
How about you, June? Who were you when you were younger?
I really, how should I say, who was I when I was younger? Went to school, didn't have many friends. I believe my childhood was an ordinary childhood. I can't remember being over the top happy or sad. But what I did know is that I was very into myself. In other words, I was a loner. Yeah, I didn't have many friends. I don't know why, but I didn't. And I used to spend a lot of time by myself, and I was very self-conscious. And then I got married and have the children. But I didn't know myself. No, I didn't know myself, to be quite honest with you. And I began knowing myself when I was over 40. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But do you say that life begins at 40, so you would agree with that?
I
Yes.
definitely
You too?
would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that then? Is it because you spend your whole life trying to find out who you are, and then suddenly you realise who you are after 40?
Or it doesn't really matter what
No,
other people think.
For me,
that's
to
a
me,
good
what
point.
happened was when it was my 40th birthday, a couple of months later, it was, bing, a light shone in my head. And all the things that used to be important to me were no longer important. And all the things that I took no notice of became important. Growing up, I grew up at 40. Automatically, nothing changed. I didn't seek it. It just happened. It was, why don't I like that anymore? Life begins at 40.
That's so bizarre. Oprah said the same thing. She said when she turned 40, it's like a light went off
Yes.
in her head, and like, oh my gosh, all the things that bothered her didn't bother. Oprah said exactly the same thing.
Really?
It's I don't know. Did you find
Yeah,
things changed at 40?
it did. I did courses. I don't know, maybe I was looking after the children, and maybe that's why I didn't know myself much, and I kept much alone, although there's family there. But I just felt that 40 onwards, I began to know myself more, and I was searching to know myself. And now I know myself more than ever. I'm continuing to know myself.
And that makes you, does that make you, that knowledge of who you are now, does that make you enjoy life much more now, that even though you're an older lady, than when you were younger?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, as we said, life begins at my age now.
And the thing is, I'm looking at you and I believe you.
Yes.
In that point, I want to know, what would you say then, if you were to live your life again, to your 20-year-old self? What advice would you give? What would you say to yourself again at 20 years old? Knowing what you know now.
I would say take more notice of yourself. Because I really didn't take any notice of myself. I was a tomboy. I grew up with cousins, they were all boys. So I was constantly in trousers, jeans, I was climbing trees. And at 20, I didn't even realize I was a girl. I'm sorry.
How bizarre.
I didn't know. I tried, and the more I tried, the more ridiculous I looked, because in my mind I was following the boys, and I didn't know how to dress, you know, as a 20-year-old, fashionable. I wore the mini skirt, very mini skirt. I wore the midriff, I wore the halter, but in a ridiculous kind of way, because everybody else was doing it.
Yeah.
So I
Like
did
it
it.
didn't match, or it didn't feel
Or not the
comfortable?
match, it just didn't feel comfortable, but because
Okay.
all the other girls were doing it and I'm trying to be a girl and failed miserably. So I would say take more notice of myself, but to tell you the truth, what happened to me in my childhood, I don't think it would have mattered.
So you would say to yourself, take more notice of yourself.
Yes,
Stop worrying
as a
about what other people
20-year-old.
think of you.
Yes, which it's peer pressure as well.
Yes.
It's a form of peer pressure in an innocent sort of way. Me trying to dress like a girl, and it didn't look right on me. It didn't look right on me because I walked with my shoulders out and all that kind of thing, you know, and walked like a boy. So
what would you have done if you were to do your life again? What would you do differently?
if I didn't have that incident that played in my mind that I was trying to be a boy because I was a girl that the thing happened to me because it happened to me. I suppose I would have been like other girls, you know, putting on makeup because I didn't put makeup on or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, June? What would you say to your 20-year-old self?
For my 20-year-old self, I would say, get to know yourself. I mean, I know at that age, you know, you said the peer pressure, you don't really know who you are, but try to, not to conform to what people want you to be. When I say conform, I don't mean I'm going to not be yourself, but try not to, because you know, if you've got very firm parents, sometimes that can stifle you. You don't know who you are actually, because you know you're trying to be obedient, you're trying to, you know, be perfect for your parents. So that can have a reflection on you know, your development, I believe. But you know, just try and know who you are.
Kim, I want to ask you the question too.
What would I say
What
to
would you say to
20,
your
I mean,
20-year-old self?
20-year-old Kim? I had a lot of fun when I was in my 20s.
I didn't.
I don't know what more I would do differently. I would say, Kim, don't get into as much debt as you did. That's what I would say. I think that'd be about it. Don't run up those credit cards.
They'll come back and bite you.
It'll come back and it'll haunt you. But no, I had a good time.
Okay.
Can I just add to that? Yeah, and do have fun. I don't believe I had lots of fun in my 20s.
Had a lot of
You have fun in your
No,
20s? No. You're having the fun now?
I'm having fun now.
Right, yes, yeah.
Okay. But okay, so we're hearing some really positive things about growing older because the way your mindset is just so different, even though outside of society tells you different. And I wanted to find out what are the setbacks though of aging that you have seen, whether it be physically or even mentally. What are the setbacks that you have seen in aging?
It would be untrue to say they're not setbacks.
Yes.
Because in our society there are setbacks in as far as society is. But to be honest with you, apart from what society says, I think there's still opportunities there for you. You may not be the opportunities in that I'm going to get this job or I'm going to get, you know, be a model or, you know, anything like that, that you can be an older model. But, you know, I think at any age there's opportunities out there for you if you open your eyes and, you know, go for it.
What about you, Julie?
For me, setbacks, I really didn't take care of my health. So it's taking care of your health. There was the point where I've gone through the menopause. Can I talk about that?
Of course you can. Feel free.
The menopause, it's something that we have to start thinking about because some people go through the menopause at 30, 40, 50.
That's true.
So it's checking to see how your body is working, which I didn't. When I went through the menopause, I thought, okay, I'm a Christian and I've got Jesus, you know.
Oh, you weren't taking medication?
Well, I went for the HRT because you have to replace the hormones. So I went there. The one that I got, I reacted really, really badly to it, where I came up in bumps and rashes and all sorts. So I thought, oh, well, my God doesn't want me to use this. He is going to, you know, do it for me. So I relied on that. And as time went by, the joints got worse and worse and worse. So in the end, I've had to have a knee replacement because of that. So taking care of your health.
So what should you have done then?
Yes.
I should have replaced the hormones that my body wasn't producing anymore. Yes, like taking your vitamins, minerals.
Oh, look for different
Yes,
medication.
yes, and Codlerol capsules, that sort of stuff, you know, because that helps your joints and it kind of, because you need minerals in your body, and you need vitamins, and the kind of foods that you eat as well, your diet, so health for me, it's health.
Actually, that's probably something you would tell your 20-year-old self, isn't it? Invest in your health.
But you know what? At 20, you're so fit and running around.
So you think it's not necessary, is it?
Because when I was in my early 50s and my mum was, you know, she was saying, oh, this pain, what is she talking about? And I'd walk ahead and leave her behind and all that sort of stuff, because I didn't feel any pains or anything like that. I was still fit and healthy then.
Yes.
So you don't think that that you could get like this.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think that I would.
You know, I've also heard that with aging, you can also accumulate a lot of emotional baggage along the way.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts towards? Yes, you're saying.
Yes.
So how did you deal with that then? That's one of your setbacks. Is that something that you say? Yes, it does happen, but you know what? I've dealt with it like this, or it's just one of those things that come with aging that you can't deal with.
No, you can. You pick, like I said, you pick things up as you go along, relationships, things that happen to you, and they all affect you. But could I talk about Christianity in this?
Yes, you can, for free.
Well,
Has that helped you to overcome?
It did, yes. I became a Christian, and my life changed. It wasn't overnight. Gradually, my life changed, and there is, within the church, there is a group called Godlywood that has helped me a lot. My life even spiraled upwards in all the things that, you know, there were roots, you know, we talk about the roots, the roots that were still there. Godlywood has helped me to dig out those roots, pull them out, and the freedom that I received.
That's probably why you're as positive as you are today.
Yes, yes.
Embracing your maturity.
Yeah.
Kimmy, what other points do you have?
I think what happens a lot of what could happen is that people could write you off sometimes, searching for young talent. And I think one of the things we need to do is always keep selling yourself and putting yourself out there, because the 50s today are like the 40s of like the 50s. It's all changing. It's just you need to put yourself out there and make sure.
Younger. A 50-year-old person looks sometimes 30.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
It's true, as we saw in the
But I've heard there's also other great advantages of maturing, especially from you. What I've gathered is, for example, you've got to discover yourself more. You've got to learn about who you are, and that has helped you develop so much now that you can enjoy life. So that's a great thing about aging, is the fact that you can learn more, discover more about who you are.
Yes.
Did you say that?
And wisdom,
Yes.
wisdom comes with it as well.
Absolutely,
As well with everything else.
Yes.
And you don't wait on other people's approval anymore.
Oh,
No,
no,
no.
Become your own person.
Yes.
And I believe that, you know, if you wouldn't, you can. It is the time, as Julie said, to really embrace knowing who you are, because you've never known who you are. When I say know who you are, you know, as you said, we women sometimes have our emotions. You know, we go through certain things in life, and you say, "Who am I?" So this is a time to do that, get to know yourself.
Do you think that with maturity comes a better judge of character? You become a better judge of character, like you're not as judgmental as you were before, not as naive, because, for example, especially in relationships we can talk about. So, you know, when you're younger, if a guy can just sweep you off your feet, and then next thing you know, you're in all kinds of dramas. Would you say that now that you're older, mature, with more experience, you're a better judge of character? It's like you can see things coming a mile off?
Yes. You judge
Definitely.
characters more. You
certainly
can
can.
judge character more.
Even in your
Wise,
children's
yes.
life, I guess, as
Yes.
well.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
But able to give them advice.
Yes.
And would you say you manage your emotions better than when you were younger?
Yes, I certainly do. Having said that, you know, as you get older, depending again what your life experience has been, you can get emotion. Oh, for example, you can say, oh, you know, I did so much for such and such a person, and look at me now, I'm old and no one wants to know me. But if you look into that way, if you look at your life that way, you know, it wouldn't benefit you at all. You have to say, well, this is the situation and I'm moving on. Yes, and you know, it will change.
Lovely. Julie, have you got anything to add with that point?
Nope. it.
She said it just exactly the way you wanted it. I've also heard that aging can kind of be a lonely time. Would you disagree or agree with that?
No, not for me.
You've got too
Because
much to
I've
do, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's
maybe,
getting yourself
yes.
involved in a lot of things. Things are really important.
Yeah, it can be.
Mm.
It can be a lonely time.
Yes.
But there again, and for those who find it lonely, thanks be to the community again. You know, there's things out there that, as we said earlier on, you can go to the library and find out the age concern. So there's things for you. But if you feel lonely inside of you, that in the family, you know, they don't want to know me, children don't want to know me, that is a bit harder. But, you know, you can do things to help. You know, there's people there who can help you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Miss Julie.
I was listening on the radio coming to the studio earlier on about loneliness.
Yes.
They were talking about loneliness, and you'd be surprised that there are people in their 30s. One young man who was in his 30s, 34, he was lonely. Had a partner, but he was lonely. So the loneliness
Can
is...
affect anyone.
Yes, but when it's the loneliness inside, which is what I suffered from
Yes.
as a young person, when I didn't have friends or I couldn't make friends, that kind of thing. So loneliness could be not only for an older person, but a younger person. And June, you've got experience with that because you work with the elderly. You worked with the elderly, didn't you?
I don't necessarily work with the elderly, but I have, in terms when I do my job, and I did go and do some assessment with the elderly. And yes, it can be quite lonely. I mean, I've met ladies on the street who I said hello to, and then she was telling me how she was lonely. She was a very lonely lady, but she had a husband there, and she had a son as well. But her son wasn't treating her right. Her son was taking her money.
Yeah, it's happened a lot, isn't it?
And she just really wanted to talk and talk and talk, and she was lonely.
Well, ladies, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you here because we're coming to the end of the show. I want to thank you so much for coming on, June. Julie, it's been wonderful having you as well. Kim, always fabulous to have you. And I must say, you've educated me.
Really?
Can I just say
Yes.
one thing quickly? There's a program that comes on. It comes on after, I think, X Factor. I think it's called The Rockers. It's a comedy where seniors get away with all kinds of things. It's hilarious.
Really?
Really
That's a
funny.
plug for the Rockers. Thank you, Kim. Just to conclude, look, at the end of the day, growing older is something that's going to come to all of us. But what I've learned from today's show, from this wonderful panel of women, is all how you look at it. There are so many things that you can celebrate being an older lady, a mature lady. You've got to know who you are, you've got to enjoy life, and you have many benefits outside for the community, and that which I wasn't really aware of. It's a time for you to really sit back, reflect, look at who you've been and who you want to be. It's time for you to be a different kind of woman. Grow old gracefully. I definitely will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All the girls, one more.